Rain poured down heavily over the glass walls of the towering skyscraper, blurring the city lights like melting stars. Inside the luxurious office, Ethan Royce, one of the country's youngest self-made millionaires, sat behind a mahogany desk, eyes fixed on the endless numbers dancing across his laptop screen. He had it all: the company, the cars, the money, but not a single photograph on his desk. Not one picture of family, friends, or love. Only silence and the steady hum of success. As his assistant entered to remind him of another board meeting, a soft knock interrupted her words. Ethan frowned. No one dared to knock on the CEO's door unannounced. The door creaked open, and there she was, a tiny girl, no more than 6 years old, standing drenched in the doorway, clutching a small pink lunchbox with trembling hands. Her hair stuck to her cheeks, her uniform soaked from the rain. She looked straight at him, eyes wide and innocent. And before anyone could speak, she whispered softly, "You forgot your lunch, Daddy." The entire room froze. Ethan's world, perfectly structured, perfectly controlled, shattered in that 1 second. Everyone in the company whispered about Ethan Royce, the man who built an empire from nothing. Ruthless, brilliant, and emotionless. He was the type of man who fired people for being 5 minutes late, who measured time only in profits, and who forgot what weekends felt like. He lived in a mansion that overlooked the whole city, but when he returned every night, all he heard was the echo of his own footsteps. That morning, as the girl stood in front of him, Ethan felt something strange, a flicker of warmth, confusion, maybe even guilt. Who are you?" he finally asked, his voice unsteady. The little girl stepped closer, still clutching the lunchbox. "You forgot this," she said, holding it up. "Mommy said you always forget your lunch when you go to work." Ethan glanced at his assistant, who was equally speechless. "Sir, I don't know how she got past security," she whispered. The girl looked around the giant office, the glass, the golden nameplate, the empty walls, and her lip trembled. "You're not Daddy?" she asked softly. Ethan felt his chest tighten. "No," he said quietly. "I'm not." Tears welled up in her eyes. "I'm sorry," she whispered, backing away. You looked like him. Daddy left a long time ago, and Mommy said he used to wear a suit like yours." Before anyone could stop her, she turned and ran down the hallway. Ethan froze in his chair, unable to move. The words, "Daddy left a long time ago," echoed in his mind. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. He sat alone in his mansion, staring at the small pink lunchbox the girl had dropped in his office. Inside was a half sandwich, a tiny juice box, and a crayon drawing, a family of 3, smiling under a bright yellow sun. He felt something he hadn't felt in years, loneliness with a name. The next morning, Ethan did something no one expected. He left his luxury car in the garage and took a taxi to the address written on the back of the drawing. It led him to a small, crumbling apartment building on the outskirts of the city. He found the same little girl sitting on the steps, hugging a worn-out teddy bear. Her eyes lit up when she saw him. "You came back," she whispered, standing up. Ethan smiled gently. "I think you dropped this," he said, handing her the lunchbox. "You made it for your dad, right?" She nodded slowly. "He doesn't come anymore. Mommy says he got busy with money." Those words hit him like a punch to the chest. He crouched down so his eyes met hers. "Sometimes," he said quietly, "grown-ups think money can fix everything. But it can't." Her mother, tired, dressed in an old uniform, stepped out of the building just then, shocked to see the city's most famous CEO talking to her daughter. She quickly apologized. "I'm so sorry, sir," she said. "She must have followed you from your office building. I work in the cafeteria downstairs. She must have seen you and—" Ethan raised his hand softly. "It's all right. She reminded me of something important." The woman looked embarrassed. "We didn't mean to cause any trouble. It's just, things have been hard since her father left." Ethan nodded, understanding more than he could say. He glanced at the little girl again, her small smile, her trust, her innocence. That day, Ethan made a quiet decision. He offered the woman a better job in his company cafeteria, not out of pity but respect. And every morning after that, he stopped by for breakfast. The little girl would run up to him with her pink lunchbox, and though he was not her father, she'd still whisper, "Good morning, Daddy." Months passed. Ethan began changing, not just as a boss but as a man. He started smiling more, listening more. The office that once echoed with silence now had a photo on the desk, a crayon drawing of three stick figures holding hands. He funded scholarships for single mothers, started a childcare program for employees, and changed company policies to allow more time for family. People began to say that Ethan Royce had a heart now. But only he knew, it wasn't a change. It was a rediscovery. One evening, years later, as he was leaving the office, he saw the little girl, now a bit older, waiting with her mom at the bus stop across the street. She waved, smiling wide. And he waved back, feeling the warmth spread through him. For the first time in years, Ethan wasn't thinking about profits or losses. He was thinking about how a stranger's child, who called him Daddy, by mistake, had shown him what success really meant. As the bus drove away, he whispered softly to himself, "You didn't forget your lunch today, but you almost forgot your heart." He smiled. And for the first time in his life, the millionaire felt truly rich.